Alright, welcome to Marvel Monday. And today we are talking about WandaVision, the first, I guess, original series within the MCU. And it airs on Disney Plus. I think it's stupid that they're not counting Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I know it veered away towards the end. I only watched a few episodes during season 1. I couldn't get into it, but it sucks. But here we go, WandaVision. Now the trailer for this had me kind of confused because it looked like it was sort of a sitcom with Wanda and Vision in the 1950s, and I was just like, what's going on here? How is Vision back? What's going on? And so there's good and there's bad with this, because on one hand, I grew up in the 90s, very much the time of Nick at Night. And so I used to watch Nick at Night. I watched the shows that they're parodying. Dick Van Dyke Show, Bewitched, I Dream a Genie. What else was there? The Brady Bunch, Full House, which is ironic because Elizabeth Olsen's the Olsen twins, were on that show. Family Ties. I watch a bit of that even now and then on that. I forget what it's called, but. And there was Malcolm in the Middle. I've seen episodes of that. I know about The Office and Modern Family, which they also spoof. So there's a lot of, especially the old time sitcom-y stuff. I Love Lucy. Stuff like that just sort of, it reminds me of that. And it reminds me of a better time with sitcoms. Nowadays, comedies, or what they call sitcoms, are just comedies shot one camera, no audience or live track, and I don't like that. I like sitcoms with live tracks or actual audiences. I like those. But nowadays, you go, no, we gotta do it this way. Like, I was, like, Young Sheldon, alright? Not to go off pack, but I heard the Young Sheldon was happening. Then I saw the trailer, and it looked like every comedy that comes out nowadays, even though it doesn't make sense because its predecessor was a sitcom with a live track, 4 cameras, that kind of thing. So why would you do a spin-off that's not like the other? It just doesn't make any sense. So anyway, WandaVision. It's clear that something is going on here. At first, we don't know what it is. And the first 3 episodes don't really offer any answers. There's clues such as a helicopter, a toy helicopter showing up. We later find out it's a drone. At the end of episode 2, I think we get there's a couple episodes. There's the end of episode 1 or something. There's a thing where someone's hand is sticking out. Episode 2 has someone talking through a radio, and watching it, I'm like, I know that voice, because I was watching it with my mom and my son, and my sister was there too. It's my birthday, and we were watching it, and I go, I know that voice. My mom goes, yes, you do. She's already watched it. So, lo and behold, after episode 3, which is the 80s, 70s sitcom era, Geraldine ends up, she doesn't belong there. Where did she come from? She disappears. We find out she was thrown out of this barrier that Wanda has around. And that essentially, episode 4 is catching us up on what's happened. It turns out that Geraldine is actually Monica Rambeau, the little girl from Captain Marvel, which I don't hate. I know there's haters out there. I think it's fine. I think it's a fine movie. But she's Monica Rambeau. It turns out she disappeared in a snap. Her mother did not. And her mother died of cancer during the 5 years that that people were gone. She's come back, and she's now working for this guy. Well, I forget his name, but he's an asshole. He lies to people. What is it? It reminds me of Kittredge from. It might even be the same actor. Is it the same actor? I don't think so. But it reminds me of Kittredge from the Mission Impossible, 96 Mission Impossible movie. Reminds me of him. I don't think it's the same guy, though. But, yeah, he's the one in charge of S.W.O.R.D., which is the new S.H.I.E.L.D. that they have in here. And so Uh, yeah, and then we get that voice. Randall Park as Jimmy Woo from Ant-Man and the Wasp, which is a character I liked, and he's learned the close-up magic, so that's cool. And then the hand that we see at the end of episode 2, I think, is Darcy from the first 2 Thor movies, which, in retrospect, by the end of this, she wasn't really needed. I don't think. She does figure out some things, but in the end, she doesn't really do much. So it's during episode... It's during the first couple episodes that we see this. Like, they go outside, and there's someone in a bee suit. And she just goes, no, and rewinds things. And so we see that she's controlling it. And we find out in episode 4 that Sword is actually sending these things in. The helicopter, little toy helicopter, is actually a drone. This beekeeper guy was actually in a hazmat suit. All that stuff. We also meet Agnes, who is the next door neighbor. He talks about a husband we never see. And that's there's a staple in a sitcom. Cheers had Norm's wife. Never met her. But that was a thing. So it was kind of a running joke. We do meet Ralph, but yeah. So at the end of episode 4, we go to episode 5. Episode 5 is the 80s. Full House and Family Ties copies the opening is very Family Ties, and we see like Baby Vision, which is very Growing Pains, baby pictures and stuff like that is kind of cool. And this, certain things going on in this episode. We get a sense that something's going on when Agnes asks to babysit the boys, because in episode 3, in episode 2 she finds out she's pregnant and it goes into color. In episode 2, she gives birth, and then Geraldine mentions Ultron, and that's what throws her out. So now the boys have aged up, and we're in the 80s, and it's very sitcom-y, very good, very cool. And Agnes says, "You want to take that again? You're supposed to offer me the boys." It's like, huh? So like the playing, and this is when Vision really starts to, get things. Because in episode 1, his boss choked on something, and you get the sense that the wife is yelling, "Stop it, stop it." But she's looking at Wanda to stop it, and then Wanda tells Vision, "Stop it," and he does this thing and pulls whatever he's choking on out. So yes, and we get a sense that Agnes isn't who she says she is. There's something, snide about it, and then, like, Vision is really trying to figure out what's going on. He touches one of his coworkers' head, and they start saying things like, "Help us, she's controlling us, we need to get out of here," but then he does the thing, and he goes back to sitcom thing. So he's trying to confront Wanda at the end of this episode, and she starts running the credits because she doesn't want to talk about it. And then there's a doorbell, and we get a shot from behind, someone standing there with gray hair, like silver hair, and it's Evan Peters as Quicksilver, Pietro, Maximoff, Quicksilver, whatever. But it's Quicksilver from the X-Men movies. So we think. And this is what got people way out of control. And this is where people got, like, oh my God, the X-Men crossing over. And I went, oh my God, this is going to end terribly. Because I knew it's not what people were going to think. I'm thinking, there's no way this is actually him. There's something going on, and there's a whole meme. It's Mephisto, and so it could be, but then we find out something else later. So also in episode 4, we find out this. I'm just gonna call him Kittredge because I don't remember his name. Kittredge guy shows them footage of Wanda stealing Vision's body, which is a lie, and we'll get to that. Next episode is the Halloween episode. It's Malcolm in the Middle episode. And this is where we find out that the edge of town, Wanda can't control everyone. So they're just kind of either just standing there or they're just on the edge of it and they can't finish what they're doing. It's very weird. And he finds Agnes and she's dressed as a witch. Hint, hint. And then she like freaks out and drives away after he reconnects to consciousness, or so he thinks. And in the next episode after this, there's not much we learn. Otherwise, it's a fun Halloween episode. that was supposed to air earlier last year, I think. But of course, COVID stopped that. And then we get episode 6, episode 7, actually, is the Office Modern Family episode. And things are going wacky. Things are going weird. Things like TVs are turning back to the 50s and stuff like that. It's getting all weird. And then Geraldine finds her way back in. I'm gonna call it that. Monica finds her way back in, and she finds out she's getting powers, of course, because she's gonna be Photon. And she starts to investigate. She gets found by Wanda. She confronts Wanda. Wanda says, "You shouldn't be here." And then Agnes shows up and kind of takes her away. I should mention the dog thing. They found a dog, and then Agnes says that her plants killed it. But then we go down to Agnes's basement. She was supposed to be watching the kids, but they're nowhere to be found. And then they go down to the basement, and they find it's like an old castle basement with ruins on it, and Wanda has no powers there. And then we find out through a catchy song that who's been messing up everything? It was Agatha all along. This led people again to say that Agatha was the one behind the force field and why they're there. Like maybe she made a deal with Wanda, but no, they're just telling us she's behind why everything is fluctuating and messing up. She's messing with it because she's interested. In the next episode is a flashback to Wanda's past, and she watches the sitcom and stuff like that. Stuff we kind of can surmise. We also find out that Kittredge, I don't know his name, he lied, and she didn't take Vision's body. In fact, she never took anything. She went there, she saw it, she left, and she went to a lot that Vision apparently bought for them, and she created this whole thing, and Vision is actually created from this thing, and so are the kids, and that's why when Vision tries to escape in the Halloween episode, he can't do it, because he's part of this illusion. And then it ends with Agatha having Agatha Harkness is her name. Kids on a leash and stuff. And the next episode is the big showdown. We also get a post-credit scene in that episode showing a white Vision, which had me go, yes, because as a kid, I was at the arcade and I played Captain America and the Avengers arcade game. And I had a white Vision, and I was like, yes, finally. So, the last episode is very MCU. You get white Vision versus fake Vision fighting. Fake Vision reignites something, and white Vision's like, I am Vision. He flies away, we don't see him. Agatha and Wanda are fighting back and forth, and Wanda eventually puts up the runes, so Agatha has no powers, and she makes Agatha permanently a part of this town as the nosy neighbor. And one thing I don't like is that they make it seem like Wanda was the victim here, because Monica says they'll never know what you sacrifice. That doesn't really make any sense, because she gives up this whole dome and everything so people can have their lives, but they didn't exist. She didn't really sacrifice anything, right? And Darcy gets one last shot knocking over Kittredge. I don't know what else to call him. I don't remember his name. But yeah, and what else is there? Oh, by the way, Ralph. So Mr. Quicksilver is actually Ralph Boner, and he's not Quicksilver. And we got played by Disney and Marvel because we got played. Or most people got played. I knew there was something going on. It couldn't really be him, but people got played. And then post-credit scenes. One in which Monica gets a visit from a Skrull pointing up to space. And then another one in which Wanda is searching the realms, which will lead into Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness. Overall, I thought this was well done. The last episode is a little more, MCU-ish than the rest of this was, but it's still very well done overall. Can't wait to see what goes on with Multiverse of Madness. Very interested. I like the first Doctor Strange. I'm a Doctor Strange fan. See, look. He right here. On my shirt. See? Right there. I really enjoyed this. So there it is. What are your thoughts on WandaVision? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And next week, I'm taking on Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So be ready for that. Until then, I'll see you.